was going to ask him what his, we're not hiking tomorrow, but I was going to ask him, like, what's his preferred route based on the weather. I was going to get my input on it.
We're hiking for sunrise? The weather forecast is ridiculous for sunrise. I am over the moon. I feel like I'm
hold that enthusiasm for when you get in the muck.
Tell me who's the green one.
All right, everybody, we're going to get the show rolling here. I tried to convince some of the OBS forecasters to come up and do this for me, but I'm sort of stuck with it. We're going to roll this sort of like we do every week when we record. Again, I'm Stomp, and this is Mike. We're from the Sounds Like a Search and Rescue podcast.
Stomp, should we ask them if they have ever listened to the show? Should we ask them if they've ever listened to the show, like to raise their hand, or should we just keep going?
Yeah, I guess that's a good idea.
Go ahead and ask them.
Has anybody heard of us before? Anybody? A raise of hands? Excellent, excellent. That's a good sign.
You like the shiny stickers? You do? You can take more than one. Okay, I don't know. I like shiny things.
So here we go.
So we have a bunch of stickers here. If you want to grab them, they're for free. The patches cost money, but you can talk to us about that. Now, Stomp, this is the part of the show where we start with the music. Okay.
Here is the latest Higher Summits forecast brought to you by our friends at the Mount Washington Observatory.
Weather above treeline in the White Mountains is often wildly different than at our trailheads. Before you hike, check the Higher Summits forecast at mountwashington.org. Weather observers working at the nonprofit Mount Washington Observatory write this elevation-based forecast every morning and afternoon. Search and rescue teams, avalanche experts, and backcountry guides all rely on the Higher Summits forecast to anticipate weather conditions above treeline. You should too. Go to mountwashington.org or text forecast to 603-356-2137.
All right. And here's your forecast for Friday, July 19th and Saturday, July 20th. Friday night, in the clear under mostly clear skies with a low in the lower 40s. Winds will be west at 20 to 35 miles per hour. Wind chill falling to 30 to 40 above. Saturday, this is amazing. In the clear. It's a miracle. Under mostly sunny skies early and partly sunny skies later with a high around 50 degrees. Winds will be west, shifting northwest at 20 to 35 miles per hour, increasing to 30 to 45 miles per hour with gusts up to 55 miles per hour. And Saturday night, in the clear, trending towards in and out of the clouds under partly cloudy skies with a slight chance of rain. With a low in the lower 40s, winds will be northwest at 30 to 45 miles per hour, with gusts up to 55 miles per hour. Ooh, we have Sunday as well. Mostly in the clear, under partly sunny skies, a slight chance of rain showers in the early morning and in the late afternoon, with high again in the upper 40s. Winds will be northwest at 30 to 45 miles per hour, with gusts up to 55 miles per hour, decreasing to 20 to 35 miles per hour. And the wind chill will be 30 to 40 above.
Go Stomp.
Studio in the great state of New Hampshire. Welcome to the Sounds Like a Search and Rescue podcast, where we discuss discuss all things related to hiking and search and rescue in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Here are your hosts, Mike and Stump.
All right. I survived the forecast. Hey, what's up, brother? So there's your forecast. It's literally a miracle. We've spent the last month in rainy, crazy weather with tornadoes and microbursts and everything else, and this weekend is shaping up to be absolutely perfect for the hike. So we're here at Seek the Peak 2024, and we're just going to be chatting and interviewing a bunch of people tonight, and we plan to release this in a couple of weeks for your enjoyment. We're Mike and Stomp from the Sounds Like a Search and Rescue podcast, and we'll be here for the next few hours. We have a bunch of stickers and all kinds of cool stuff up here. If you want to come up and say hi, do so. We'd love to meet you. We have oboes here. We have a whole bunch of folks hanging and just chatting and getting ready for the big day tomorrow. So how are you, Mike?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I can't hear you, Mike.
Oh, you can't? I'm doing well.
Yeah, just get right on there.
Get closer to the mic. Okay.
There we go.
How's my volume now?
Perfect.
Okay, very good. So, Stomp, based on that weather, it looks like it's going to be a good day tomorrow. We're going to talk to some of the folks from the Weather Observatory. They're going to come here, but I'm curious, what is your preferred... I know you're not hiking tomorrow, but if you were, what would be your preferred route to go up Mount Washington?
That's a really good question. I think I would choose Glen Boulder. That's always my favorite. My wife and I, Mrs. Stomp, have done Glen Boulder so many times, and that was actually the trail that got her hooked on hiking. So yeah, Glen Boulder, straight up to the summit.
And then where would you come down?
Let's see, probably down Lion's Head, or maybe even the Great Gulf, and then take Old Jackson Road back to Pinkham, make a nice big loop out of it.
That's fair. Now, the problem is, I asked him the question first, and he gave the same answer that I would give. So, I guess both Stomp and I are advocates for going up Glen Boulder, going across I think it's the Garden Cutoff is the trail, and then up Davis, and then personally for me, I would probably go back down Davis, and then head over to Lion's Head and come down that way. So, that's my opinion, Stomp. So great minds think alike.
You can't go wrong.
No. And mostly, the reason I say that too is just mostly because of the weather. It's going to be perfect conditions up there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Should be great. So welcome to episode 164 of the Sounds Like a Search and Rescue podcast. We're excited to be recording live here at the fabulous Tuckerman Brewing Company for the Seek the Peak pre-hike party. So Seek the Peak is the annual kickoff fundraiser event that supports the Mount Washington Observatory. The observatory is a private, non-profit, member-supported institution with a mission to advance understanding of the natural systems that create Earth's weather and climate. And I'm just making this up at the top of my head here. So I'm impressed.
You got this, kid.
Yeah, I got this. So yeah, I lost my time. But you get the observatory is awesome, basically. So I'm Mike.
And I'm Stomp. Let's get started.
All right, let's get started.
This is Ben Pease from Hiking Buddies. We are a 501c3 nonprofit committed to reducing avoidable tragedies through education, impactful projects, and fostering a community of support. You can find out more at hikingbuddies.org. We wanted to say thank you to those who have supported our mission, and most importantly, say thanks to those who speak up, who ask questions, and who are willing to provide guidance and assistance on the trails when needed. You embody what it means to be a hiking buddy. And now, for all my newer hikers out there, here's this episode's Hiking Buddies Quick Tip.
Plan the hike taking in all ability and skill levels. Pre-planning will promote a successful hike. Communicate with team members, deploy a solid plan, ask good questions, and listen and be patient with your teammates' needs.
Hi, Christina with White Mountain Endurance Coaching, and I wanted to let you know that not only do I coach endurance athletes, I also coach hikers and mountaineers. I have plenty of experience in the White Mountains and would love to teach you how to start out, whether you're a beginner, if you're more advanced, give you some more skills to transition from hiking to trail running, and most of all, teach you how to move safely in the mountains. So whatever your goals are, whatever your experience is, reach out, coaching.christinafolsick.com. I'd love to help you.
All right, so we're going to start off with Fawn. So Fawn is here, and she's like, are you Instagram famous? You can talk on the mic.
I am not Instagram famous.
Okay, but
I'm just a regular person.
Should I share your Instagram so you can get followers?
You can share my Facebook.
All right, so what is the Instagram again?
It's Bike Camp Hike Girl.
All right, you don't swim then?
No swimming.
You don't swim. Okay, so it's Bike Camp Hike Girl.
Correct.
Okay. Is that in order of what you prefer to do? Or is that your favorite order?
No.
It's not. What would be your favorite order then?
Hike.
Hike? Okay, that's the right answer. That's the right answer. So why do we have you here? What's so special about you that we want to talk to you first?
So I'm here as one of the Mount Washington Observatory Seek the Peak stewards. There are 8 of us, and I am one of the people that has hiked a lot of the trails. In fact, I've hiked the entire book. So
You have?
I have. I finished last summer.
So you've even hiked the Link.
The Dink.
And you've hiked the Parapet Trail?
The Parapet Trail,
Wow.
correct.
Talk about a miserable experience.
That is not the worst one.
What is the worst trail, in your opinion, after hiking all of the trails in the White Mountain Guide?
That would be the trail that shall not be named.
What trail is this?
I can't tell you.
It's a secret?
If you speak it out loud, it's evil.
Really? Okay. I gotta
If you're
think about this.
a
So-
part of Hike Club, the first rule is don't tell anybody about
Now,
Hike
this is
Club.
interesting. So we'll maybe you can whisper it in my ear later.
I'll whisper it later, but it's a trail in the Pemigewasset Wilderness that most people don't go on. It's hard to follow. It's super muddy. It has terrible bog bridges and a lot of mosquitoes.
I'm guessing this is the Franconia Brook Trail.
No.
No? Okay. We'll find out later. So, for me personally, though, I think the Parapet Trail is the worst trail in the Whites, in my opinion. It's just like side hill, brutally, like it's not. It needs a trail maintainer because there's
It does.
you have to basically bushwhack through, and you're much better off going over the top of Madison, in my opinion.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's always a good plan.
Okay. So what exactly is your job duties as being a steward for Seek the Peak?
So it's been really fantastic. For the past few months, the 8 of us have been helping to promote Seek the Peak. We've bonded together with oboes, working with their new Catabatic Wind shoes, which are amazing. Yes! And we're all hiking different ways tomorrow or this weekend.
Look at you marketing queen. I'm impressed. Oh, and we have the oboes table over there. So if you have any extra shoes and you want to give them to me, yeah, I'm a size 9. Thanks. So what exactly are you going to be doing tomorrow then? Are you going to have like a vest on that says I'm important, or how's that going to work?
No, I'm just regular, but I'm so excited because this forecast is over the top awesome. I really enjoy sunrise hiking, and to have a forecast with clear skies, maybe 15% clouds, 40 degrees at the summit, 20 to 25 mile-an-hour winds. I am so happy right now.
Yeah, I mean, the observatory, like, they've dusted off their weather machine and really turned it up to, like, perfection. It's awesome.
It's awesome. So we're going to hike. We're starting at 2 a.m. at
2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously your intent by doing a 2 a.m. hike is to see the sunrise.
Correct.
All right.
Above tree line.
Above tree line. So what's the route that you've chosen for tomorrow?
We're going Tuckerman Ravine Trail to Lion's Head Summer Route, and we'll be well above tree line easily by 3:30 or 4. We might be on the summit by 5 or 5:30. We might not. The three of us talk a lot, so if we're yakking too much, we might not go as fast.
Yeah, no, that'll
but
be
we'll
amazing.
certainly see sunrise. When you're on that western slope of Mount Washington, sunrise is gorgeous looking in that direction. I've seen it from Boot Spur. I've done this from Tux before, which is a little bit compressed, but I've also done it from Lion's Head. It's amazing to see sunrise from this side of Mount Washington.
Yeah, that's something I've never done before. I've seen sunrise from Chicora, which is sort of the same angle that you're going to be looking at, but I haven't been. I'm too lazy. I do hike in the morning, but I'm too lazy to get up at 2 in the morning.
You just have to think of it as a late night.
Well, do you get up or do you stay up all night?
No, I'm going to go home soon and go to bed for a couple of hours and then get up at midnight.
Okay, and then is the plan essentially like you'll be coming down as a lot of the hikers will be coming up?
Exactly.
And are you going to be inspecting like backpacks and making sure that? No, you're just going to be saying hi and cheering people on.
Correct.
Okay, and then
Correct.
helping out if somebody needs help.
Always,
Okay.
of course. So
Now-
I always carry a lot of safety gear.
All right, now what is your resume that you were able to qualify to be a steward like this?
I don't know why they picked me.
Really? You seem like you have like a really good hiking background, though.
I have a lot of hiking experience here, and I do a lot of volunteering for the Forest Service.
Okay.
I'm a trail adopter, and also I work at the trailheads as a trailhead steward.
Okay, so you do the trailhead steward in your other life. Do you like? Do you just volunteer, or do you have a full-time job as well?
I'm actually a doctor.
You're a doctor as well.
Yeah, full time.
Oh boy, you have a very busy life. I'm tired just thinking about this.
It's okay. This is my passion. I live for hiking. So
Wow, well.
I'm really happy. But guess what?
What?
We're either going to go down Boot Spur, like what you were talking about,
Yes.
or have you been on Nelson Crag Trail?
I have been on Nelson Crag Trail, but I do prefer Boot Spur. And the reason, I'll give a tip, in my opinion on Boot Spur, is the reason I like that is that when you come down off of Boot Spur, you have to be careful because you do not want to step on any of the mountain vegetation or the flowers. But there's like 3 or 4 spots where you can rock hop and get out to direct views of Tuckerman Ravine. And in
Yes.
my opinion, the last time I did Boot Spur was maybe about a month or 2 ago, and I actually took Boot Spur Link down
that's
to
the
Hermit
best
Lake,
trail.
which I thought was good. But
Yeah.
before I did Boot Spur Link, I connected with a couple of the overlooks to look directly into Tuckerman's, and they're fantastic photo opportunities. So for me, I love going down Boot Spur.
It's awesome. We're going to make a command decision at the summit.
Okay.
The 3 of us decided we're not going to decide until we get there, and then we'll decide which way to go.
Yeah. And in my opinion, coming down off the summit, I always recommend Davis Path versus the Tuckerman Rock Hop. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been there, done that on the Tuckerman Rock Hop, but I prefer Davis Path. Even though it's a little bit longer, to me it's a little bit quicker because you're kind of looping around.
Better footing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, very good. So, Stop, is there anything else? Do you have any questions?
I do not. I'm satisfied.
Okay. All right.
I'm
so
still in
anything else
mixing
you want to
mode
share
here.
with us?
Nope. So I will be over here for trail information. If you're hiking tomorrow and you want to talk about your route, come on over and I have maps and everything. We can talk about your route.
Okay, so Fawn, I'm going to ask you have to make a decision here. We have 3 people from the observatory that are going to step in. And we have, hold on, let me get the names to make sure that I don't mess this up.
Uh-oh.
We have Charlie, Francis, and Drew. So do you know these guys? You don't know them? Okay. Do you want to? So we have Francis and Drew. You've got to pick one to start off with. But they can both come up. So you're gonna pick Francis to start with.
Yes.
Okay, but you guys can both come up. We'll have mics here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was great.
Fawn.
Let's hear
That
it.
was awesome. Let's hear it for Fawn. Hooray!
Fieldstone Kombucha is New England's premier craft kombucha company.
If you're in the heart of New England, you need to drink a New England-style kombucha. Softer, less acidic, and truly enjoyable. Our kombucha is naturally effervescent and boasts full-bodied flavor. Fieldstone crafts the best seasonal flavors. When we tell you there's strawberries in our Garden Blush flavor, it's like biting into a sun-ripened strawberry. Woman-owned and operated, we brew in Rhode Island using locally sourced ingredients. Fieldstone Kombucha is the perfect replenishing drink after a day on the slopes or a trek in the woods. It's chock full of probiotics and healthy acids to keep you in top form. Find us at Sunflower Natural Foods in Laconia, Latas Cafe in Waterville Valley, the Concord Food Co-op, and Granite State Co-op in Concord as well, and more. Check out our website for the full list of New Hampshire and New England-wide locations. Use code SLASR on our website for 10% off an online order shipped straight to your door. That's fieldstonekombuchaco.com.
Okay, so we are here with people that actually work in the Mount Washington Weather Observatory. So, Francis, yeah, you just put it up to your mouth pretty quick. So, I'm Mike. Nice to meet you.
Likewise, yeah.
Okay. Have you ever listened to the show before?
Not yet.
Not yet?
But I definitely will after today.
Of course, because now you're on it, right?
Yeah.
So, that's great. So, why don't you introduce yourself? What is it exactly that is in your background that you were able to land a job working at the Weather Observatory?
Sure, yeah. So, I'm Francis Taraswitz. I'm a meteorologist, weather observer, and education specialist on the summit. And I say that quite a bit because I've had a lot of media appearances under my belt. But anyways, I went to, I'll go way back. I started with a passion of weather when I was in elementary school. Mm-hmm. I was one of those like Weather Channel kids. I don't know if that's like a big thing, but I got to the point where like my parents wanted to watch anything but the Weather Channel. And yeah, I got started with nor'easters. So we had a huge snowstorm in like 2000 or something like that. So I was like 3 or 4 years old at that point and knew I wanted to get into the weather even back then. But fast forward, in high school they called me the Francast. So we had kids would just randomly come up to me and ask if like we were going to have school the next day or not, if we had a lot of snow coming. And then from there, I formally got my weather degree at Lyndon State College up in northern Vermont, and I'm wrapping up my master's at Plymouth State University.
All right, that's awesome. So let me ask you a question here, Francis. So my kids, they've just graduated from high school, so I'm a little bit past this, but there's a little one over there. There's a couple of little ones over there. What is the best technique for the young people to manifest a snow day when it's winter? Is it my kids used to sleep with a spoon in their bed. They used to wear inside-out clothes. Is there any tips or tricks that you can give?
So yeah, inside-out pajamas for sure. Yep. Ice cubes under the pillow. I don't know why that works. Pillows. Maybe there's some meteorological variables involved, but yeah, definitely ice cubes under the pillow seem to work for me.
All right. Well, thank God he had an answer for that. I thought he was going to just get up and walk away and say we're crazy here. So what is your day-to-day duties at the observatory?
Yeah, sure. They range from getting up in the morning at 6:15 or so during the springtime, but then during the winter we get up a little bit earlier, 5:15. We're briefed by the night observer, and then after that we get on the radio. So we do radio calls with the AMC. We do radio calls with WMWV, which is like a local radio station. And then, yeah, it's 12 hours of observations. So I split it amongst my coworker. So we'll do the 6 hours each. And then I'm an education observer, so we'll do educational programs, primarily with K through 12 students, which can be really fun. Sometimes you get some really crazy questions from the middle school age, particularly. I've had questions like if I play Fortnite or how many push-ups I can do, things like that. You never really know what you're going to get. And then we do our daily forecast, the Higher Summits forecast.
Okay. Yep. And you write those forecasts?
We do, yeah. We spend about 2 to 4 hours a day, depending on how complicated the weather situation is looking. Yeah.
And do you have this time of the year right now? It's interesting. I feel like it's tough. Like we focus on search and rescue a lot, and like there'll be like 2 or 3 search and rescues, and then somebody will say like, "Oh, search and rescues are out of control, and it's getting so busy." So I feel like I don't want to be that guy when it comes to the weather to say like, "Oh, we've had a couple of like tornado situations and warnings, and like, oh, there's this big change." But is there a pattern that's like increasing around intense weather patterns this time of the year, or is this pretty much normal pattern and we're just kind of in the middle of it?
Yeah, it's a fairly normal July. It didn't help that we had an early season hurricane come through a couple of weeks ago. That was Beryl,
Yes.
which probably was all over the news for at least a week or so. That was the earliest Category 5 on record. So when it came towards New England as a remnant low, it still packed quite a punch. In July, of course, as you know, is hot and humid, so plenty of fuel for thunderstorms. And so really this year was a pretty extreme year for that type of stuff, the microbursts and tornadoes and whatnot. So yeah, it's not just you feeling that, it's a bit more extreme. Definitely the last couple of years have been a bit more extreme than normal.
Yeah, and another question I have for you is when you're writing the weather forecast, and Drew, you may have something to add here, there's probably like, half a dozen times a year where the weather forecast comes out and, you don't explicitly always say like, hey, don't go hiking, don't go outside, but that's the tone of it, is you sort of have a very, this is going to be dangerous conditions and we don't recommend anybody enter above tree line. What's the process for those situations or those weather windows when you've got extreme cold or you've got extreme conditions? Do you have the autonomy to just write that on your own, or does the whole team get together to say we really want to get the message out to say that we're at a heightened level of warning?
Yeah, I'd definitely say it's a full team effort. So we're all weather geeks on the summit. We all do the stuff day in and day out, even when we're off the mountain. We're looking at the forecast for the mountain. So what we do is there's a lot of debate involved. We each have our own favorite weather models that we look at. So we'll go back and forth with that. But when it comes to it, we're looking at, I guess, percentiles, like how unique is an event that's coming towards the summit. And so, for example, last year in February, you could really see almost a week out that this was going to be an extreme event. You had cold coming from the Arctic part of Canada all the way down to the summit. And so, sometimes it's obvious even a week out, but other times, it takes a little bit more thought and time to put those forecasts together. And there's a lot of in-between situations, right? So if we think back to February of 2023 when we had 109 below for a wind chill on the summit, again, that was obvious a week out, but our most challenging forecasts can sometimes be with thunderstorms, especially ones that are forming right on the terrain. So this can be a little bit harder to give people a more advanced warning of.
Yeah, what I've noticed, especially with search and rescue situations, is some of the more dangerous times are maybe not the extreme cold, because a lot of times people have enough warning. It's those thunderstorms or the cold conditions when it gets to be, below freezing wind chill, but people get caught out in late May or June or even July. Mm-hmm. Those can be crazy conditions. So I'd imagine that's where you really have to get the warnings out.
Yeah, definitely. And this last year was really weird. We had record heat in June, so we got up to 70 degrees on the 18th, which shattered our old record of 67. And then literally 10 days later, we got down to 27 degrees with a wind chill of 5 above. So that was another event where we could kind of see it a week out. I feel like the cold events are the easier events to forecast in longer terms or longer durations. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Francis. And stick around. I'm going to talk to Drew a little bit here. So, Drew, why don't you introduce yourself? A little closer.
My name is Drew Bush, and I'm the executive director at the observatory.
So are you the big boss? You're in charge of everything?
Well, I of course have a board that I work with that I report to.
All right. So you're aside from the board, you're the
sure
the hiring and the overall oversight. So how big is the team up there?
We have 24 people full time at the observatory. The team on the summit is actually 7 people.
7 people at a time.
Soon to grow to 8, actually.
Soon to grow to 8. So, yeah. And then is that full time? And then I'm assuming you have some internships or some college exchange programs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have 2 daytime observers on each shift, so they're on for 8 days, and then they're off for 6 days. There's 1 nighttime observer, and then actually this summer we have 2 interns on each shift as well. And we're actually really looking to expand the opportunities we can add for undergraduate students. So we've been looking to grow the number of interns we can host each semester.
Got it. And then I'm assuming as well, you probably host some research people that aren't associated with the observatory, but they're doing research for PhDs or other agencies as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a variety of research programs that we work with universities partners on. We also work with state and federal and private partners as well. So we have product testing we do. We're working actually to finalize a contract with the U.S. Air Force right now to test their weather instrumentation for them. We've worked obviously very closely with the National Weather Service, provide data and forecasting for their operations and for their models as well. And then we have a variety of different university partners that we work with in different capacities too.
Okay. And then as far as the shift management, do you get involved in the shift management, or I'm assuming there's a manager that oversees everything?
Yeah, he's actually around here too, but we have Jay Brocklow, who's our director of weather operations.
Okay.
And so he actually oversees the summit team, and I work a lot with him to plan and to think about what we need to do on the summit.
Got it. And then in the wintertime, you've got a rotation of people that have to go out there and clear off the ice from the equipment and basically get out there. Do you just like send the youngest guy, like Francis, gets out there for every shift, or is it a rotating? I think Francis wants to comment on this.
Yeah, Francis might have something to say there.
Sometimes it feels like we're picking the shortest straw to decide who to go out there. But yeah, some events, we're de-icing every hour. But some of the biggest nor'easters we get throughout the year, the ones that are dropping a foot of snow in Boston, for example, those are the days where we're de-icing every 10 minutes or so. We're going up and down our tower, and so, we'll try to swap out as much as we can on the summit.
Now, do you guys do you pay attention to the hikers that are coming and going from the summit? Like, if it's crazy conditions and you see a hiker walking up, are you just shaking your head being like, these people are crazy and they're going to put themselves in danger? Or
Well, I mean, we really try to think about how can we get to the hiking community before they're on the summit or in the higher peaks. So we've partnered with the Forest Service, for example, and put up warning signs at all of the trailheads to higher peaks, where you can even text us or scan a QR code to get a forecast before you step foot on the trail. And we have big plans to really begin offering our forecasting even more broadly, offering content to media partners in metropolitan regions so that we can hit people even before they step out the door and drive all the way up here and get into, something that might be a dangerous situation.
Yeah, and it's a tricky thing. Like, we talk about it all the time, and I think the challenges that you have is that you've got hikers, a lot of them are very goal-oriented, and then you've got people that are traveling from out of the region, and they've got a small window of time, and a lot of times bad decisions are made because they've got that small window of time where they only have that one day, and maybe they've got a little bit of experience but not enough to know that they're walking into a tough situation, or they just roll the dice, and it's tough. Like, I feel like those sort of the people that have a little bit of experience are the ones that get in the most danger because they've got a little bit of confidence as well. And we try to get that message out through the weather forecast, and then sort of talking about the weather forecast. But it's tough because you've got to develop that voice in the back of your head that says, like, all right, today's not the day. And sometimes people, they're committed. I'm driving up from Connecticut. I'm going to hike no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And that's why we think it's so important to try to get the information out there more broadly, to have it, available to people before they even get in their car or arrive at a trailhead, and definitely once they're at a trailhead before they've started hiking into what could be a dangerous situation. Okay. And we have, we work very closely with a number of our partners on that. So the Appalachian Mountain Club, the Forest Service, as I mentioned. We actually have a joint internship with the Mount Washington Avalanche Center so that we can really coordinate some of our operations in wintertime. We work with, New Hampshire Homeland Security and others as well, to try to broaden that message, make sure it's getting out to people in the right fashion.
Yeah, and then are you so this is your major fundraiser for the year. Mm-hmm. As far as your pipeline of like capital improvements and projects that you have, is there anything big in the pipeline at this point, like new equipment that you're working on, or any repairs inside the building that you're hoping to get done?
Yeah, we have a variety of projects we're working on. In particular, right now, we were really fortunate, thanks to Senator Shaheen, to receive congressionally directed spending. That's going to allow us to replace our snowcat, which ensures that folks like Francis will actually be able to get to the summit in the wintertime, along with all of the guests that we have that come up for trips. We do overnight edu-trips. We have climbing schools that bring up guests. We even bring up teachers for professional development. We're also going to be able to purchase with that LiDAR that we can put at the base of the mountain to have even more accurate forecasting and better sensing of the atmosphere. We'll be actually tripling the size of our Mount Washington Regional Masonet. And so what that is a series of autonomous weather stations. Right now we have 18 of them in the White Mountains, 5 of which are on the auto road side of the mountain. This July and August, we're actually going to be putting 5 more on the COG side of the mountain, so on the western side. But thanks to both a federal grant we received and then Senator Shaheen's appropriated spending that I just mentioned, we're actually going to be adding 18 new stations, modernizing 11 of the existing stations that we have to upgrade their technology, and then adding, eventually by 4 years from now, adding another 15 stations. So we'll be probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 of these autonomous weather stations that are just so important because they provide real-time data, data that our forecasters can use to make everything that they do even more accurate. But also, used for research, used for communities and businesses to be able to plan and think about how they make investments. And so that's, a really exciting project that we have going on right now.
Yeah, and Stomp has talked about these masonettes before. Do you understand this a little bit better than I do, I think, right?
Well, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think it just gives a more precise picture of what's happening at specific elevations. I mean, just like you guys said. I actually rely on those probably a little more so than the Higher Summits forecast when I'm actually going out.
Yeah.
I would love to see those more abundantly just placed out there. That's fantastic news.
Yeah, I think a lot of people rely on them. One of the things we'll be doing is making all of the data even more readily available for the public on our website at mountwashington.org. But beyond that, right now a lot of them have temperature, they have pressure, they have wind speed and direction. We'll be adding new capabilities to them to be able to measure things like precipitation as well. Think about soil temperature and soil moisture. Even solar radiation will be a part of it. So that aids a variety of partners in their research and in some of the operational things that we do.
Can you add a flip-flop sensor onto the measurement system?
I wish we could, yeah.
And I will say as well, another partner that really uses those mesonettes is the National Weather Service in Gray, Maine. Our mesonettes really show where the freezing level is, right? So if they're forecasting rain versus snow in, say, southern New Hampshire or coastal Maine or something like that, our sensors are actually able to tell them exactly where that level is, where the snow is transitioning to rain. So they use this as well a few times out of the year at least.
Yeah. I know Stomp has sort of given me a lesson on those, but I'll have to check them out again. And we'll put some information about the mesonettes in the show notes. But I actually had some questions about sort of the downtime. So Drew seems like a nice guy, and he doesn't seem like he's going to make you work constantly the whole time. So you've got a little bit of downtime to play with Nimbus the cat.
Yep.
And then I'm sure that there's some cooking that goes on as well, right? Drew, can you talk a little bit about sort of how do you keep it fun when you've got long shifts and everybody's sort of together and you've got to have that cohesion amongst the team?
Well, as you could probably guess, the summit is really the heart of our organization, so I try to be up there as much as I can, too. I'm frequently bringing our guests up, bringing our members, our donors, other VIPs to visit with folks like Francis, because they're just intrigued by the things that Francis does up there. I can't speak to all of the fun, but I know that the observers do get out and do a fair amount of hiking. They definitely like to get over to the Lakes of the Clouds hut and visit over there with some of the AMC staff. I think if I've heard correctly, there's a Nintendo Switch as well. I don't know. Francis can say more.
There is indeed. So we do play some intense games of Mario Kart.
Okay.
Quite a bit of the time, yeah. Especially after our shift when we're winding down. Things on the screen heat up a bit.
Is there somebody that's like a big photographer? Like personally, I would be the photographer up there because you get some good opportunities to get some sunrise.
We do have a photographer. So our night observer on my shift, Ryan. He's been up there for about 19 years actually. He knows all the great angles to take. I think he's figured out the best shots to take up there on the summit, especially when you have the northern lights visible. Those are usually super popular when he publishes those.
Got it. And then is there any I know climate change is always top of mind, but do you have any I've seen some reports around the shifting of the seasons and the snowpack, I think, melting a little bit earlier, and then the actual snow conditions pushing out. It seems like the non-snow season is widening a little bit, maybe, or shifting. Can you talk a little bit about that, Drew? Is there anything that you'd want to share with our listeners about that?
Yeah, we've been a part of 3 studies that have taken place sort of over the last decade plus, looking at how temperature is changing on the summit, in comparison to the valley. So in particular in Pinkham Notch, where there's also a record that goes back a similar length of time to ours. And what they've seen on the summit in the most recent study that was published a few years ago is that temperature has changed and that it is statistically significant. And in particular, that means that the snowpack has decreased. And as you were pointing out, the start of winter has been pushed back into the season, and it has also led to spring starting sooner as well. And we actually have a really active research program in this area. One of our staff is actually looking to look at how rain on snow is becoming much more frequent. One of the changes that we see with climate. And if you compare that change to the valley, the temperature difference is a little bit less than what you see at Pinkham. About 2 degrees or so of warming in the valley, maybe about a degree or a little bit more on the summit. So that's what we're really seeing with climate. We actually have a really fantastic project that we're working on this year to begin producing an annual almanac that's going to look at the changes to the climatology year over year. And we're working with the AMC and with Hubbard Brook Ecosystem Study to be able to actually couple that with biologic data too. So look at the phenological changes and have key indicator species that we can pull out and use as examples of what's happening in the high alpine zone.
Yeah, and I think I've noticed it just observing over the years that I always use Memorial Day weekend as sort of my baseline. I think last year it was a later opening for Tuckerman's. This year was a little bit later, but you definitely see the changes where it's a little bit warmer in the spring now.
Yeah, definitely. If I can add on, I'd say our winters are becoming a lot like Swiss cheese. So we're still getting similar amounts of snow overall, but snow, when it does fall, it's falling more heavily, and then it's able to melt about a week later. So our winters really exist on the backside of low pressures that are pulling down cold air for a couple of days, and then as soon as that effect is gone, we're back up into the near freezing range or so. So our snowpack is definitely a lot less stable and consistent on the summit.
Have you guys been measuring CO2?
We do not measure CO2, but the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services measures it, so that's over on the state park side. And as you guys probably know, we're really close partners with Mount Washington State Park. In fact, our weather station is located inside their building.
Nice.
And just shifting to the Seek the Peak fundraiser here. So this is your main fundraiser for the year. Can you talk a little bit about your own participation? Are you hiking tomorrow, or what's the plan for both of you? Are you taking the auto road up?
So I will actually be sitting at the education table.
Okay.
So I will be racing with probably all kinds of members of the public. In our observer gear will be one of our sort of fun challenges that we're doing, and the winner gets a Nimbus plushie. So be running as fast as I can for that one.
Nice. And Drew, are you getting out tomorrow?
So I won't be hiking tomorrow, but my family, my daughter and my wife and I, we tend to hike pretty much every week if we can.
Yeah.
So we've done our Seek the Peak hike already this previous week, and we plan to get out pretty shortly after again. I'll probably be rushing around tomorrow and doing my best to support our staff in the various areas where the event takes place, and also doing my best to welcome all of our guests and visitors who will be joining us.
Awesome. Well,
cool.
Did I miss any questions, Storm?
Yeah, I have one question.
He always has one question.
If it was really dark, snowy, sub-zero Mars temperature, and you heard a knock on the door on the tower, and it was this guy, would you really open the door, or would you keep him out?
I'm going to let Francis take that one.
I mean, but
no, it's a no. What do you guys think, huh? Would you keep him out freezing, or would you let him in the tower, huh? Let's hear us. No,
it would never happen because I listened to the forecast. I wouldn't be up there in those conditions.
Absolutely.
And even if the worst did happen, as long as you could de-ice, man, you're welcome.
Or if
I would be the low man on the totem pole.
Gotta start somewhere. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's great.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Anything else you want to cover with us?
No, just thank you so much for being here to celebrate with us, and thank you for having us on the podcast.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right. What are we doing next, Stomp?
Do we have a... yeah, let's hear it.
Thank you so much, Francis and Drew.
CS Coffee.
Our podcast is supported by CS Instant Coffee, makers of eco-friendly instant coffee. It's perfect for anyone who loves the outdoors as much as we do. Great for backpacking, day hiking, camping, and even at home. Learn more and get in touch at csinstant.coffee on the web or email us at info@csinstant.coffee. I think we have a rep from EMS, yeah?
Oh boy.
What do you think? Daryl? Hi. Never forget a face. Come on up, brother.
So Daryl's joining us every time we do a live event. Oh, Stomp's already yelling at you. So every time we do a live event, our friend Daryl from EMS joins us. So welcome, Daryl.
It's nice to be here. Always good.
All right. I just want to share with you my stupid hiker trick. So I've been showing everybody this. Like, everyone complains about deer, flies, and bugs. And I always tell people that you can buy these little things on maybe EMS will start selling them, but you can buy them online, and the deer flies stick to them, and it doesn't bother you when you go hiking. Have you ever seen these?
I have not seen them, but I'll tell you, it's not a stupid trick if it works.
It is. Yeah, it's actually not a stupid trick. It's a tricky trick. A sticky trick.
A sticky trick.
Sticky trick.
That's how we should market it. The sticky trick.
Yeah, exactly. No, so we can edit this out if you say anything that you're not supposed to say here. So we're a little bit on the hot seat here, but Eastern Mountain Sports has been making the news lately.
We're a very popular organization to talk about.
So I was just talking about you guys the other day because the store in North Conway, if you're looking for winter snowshoes or traction, I heard that the Catula microspikes are like 60% off.
60% off. It comes like $30. It's crazy.
$30 for microspikes.
Yeah, it's a crazy deal.
Yeah, so there's deals to be had. So like in bad times, there's opportunity.
Yeah, no, just trust me. I picked up 2 pairs of those spikes myself.
You did?
Oh yeah. At that price? Come on.
Perfect. Now, are you at liberty to sort of say, like, what's the latest that's going on, or do we not have to?
I wouldn't be at liberty, but I can say that I personally plan to be working for EMS for the foreseeable future, and I personally see the company moving forward after this is done.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's
good news.
And what have you been up to personally yourself? Have you been getting out there hiking and going crazy?
I wouldn't call myself going crazy, but I was able to get up to the Adirondacks a few times.
Oh, nice.
I did Whiteface and Esther, ran up the back face of Hurricane, which was a lot of fun. Been running up Kearsarge south a couple of times, through Lincoln. So it's like 9 miles, a little over 2,000 feet. Really nice trail run.
That's awesome. And then are you still traveling around? So you're getting out to New York, of course.
Yes.
So do you have any plans to do anything crazy in the Whites at this point?
I always have plans. In fact, I was just talking to someone, and we're looking maybe to do going out on the Twins and maybe even Owl's Head.
Okay, that's good. Now, do you always stick to the trails, or do you do the bushwhacking stuff that Stomp does?
When I hike with other people, I tend to stick to the trails. When I'm out by myself, especially in the Adirondacks, where it's very easy to bushwhack up stuff, I tend to like to go a little off trail.
Okay. And now we're here for Seek the Peak, which is Mount Washington. If you were going to give advice to people that are hiking Mount Washington, what route would you take to go up there?
There's 2. I think my favorite that I've ever done was up Lion's Head, down Boot Spur. I absolutely love Boot Spur, and I think it's a highly underrated way to go down.
Yeah, and we just talked about that. I recommend going down Boot Spur every time, and I was talking about how you can, you have to watch the vegetation, but you can rock hop out to the different viewpoints to take photos right out into Tuckerman, which is gorgeous.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people go down Boot Spur because they either go up Lion's Head, down Tux, or up Ammo, down Valley Way, and Boot Spur kind of gets left off because it's like a mile more, maybe, but the views are spectacular, and it's a really slept-on trail, in my opinion, for people who don't know about it.
Yeah, I agree. Is there anybody that's hiking Boot Spur tomorrow? Can you raise your hand if you're going up or down Boot Spur? Okay, we got some smart people. Did you just decide that listening to us, or did you already have that planned? All right, so you guys are smart. So, Jeff, I didn't even notice you there. Yeah. All right, now this guy's an expert here. So there we go.
Full strength coffee in the house.
So, a question for you about gear. What is the go-to gear that you're looking at, or you have any recommendations that you would give to the listeners?
Oh man, go-to gear right now.
Are you looking at new backpacks, or are you looking
I'll tell you,
at shoes?
I just got a light AF pack, and I absolutely love it.
Really?
So if you haven't heard of Light AF, they're based out of Jersey, and they do like custom like packs. You know, like Z packs and that kind of stuff. Very lightweight.
It's Dyneema fabric.
Dyneema backpack. It's literally a Miami Vice style pack. It's got the neon and all that stuff going on. Absolutely love it.
Awesome. Well, I'll check those out. I'll put those in the show notes. I've heard of it before, but I've never shopped around.
Yeah, no, they make really good stuff, and like not to be an ad for Light AF, but like you call them up and like whatever you want to do. Like they're like, yeah, we can do that. We'll make that work. You want that a little shorter, that a little longer? Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know. So Light AF. Stump, what do you think AF stands for?
Don't get me in trouble.
This is a family show.
As a feather.
Yes, as a feather. Very good. So Stump, did I miss any questions for Daryl? So Daryl, I think you're our most frequent guest.
Oh God, at this point I might be. Do I get like a punch card where I get like a free something if I go on 5 times?
You can have a free patch.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, please take one.
All right.
Yeah, we always appreciate you joining us for a convo. Any tips on safe hiking in hot weather?
Take more water than you think, but not too much water. You know, I know people that will do a 5-mile hike and doing 4 liters because like this is what I need. Look at water sources. Bring something like a Sawyer Squeeze or a Be Free or something that will help you take less water. But if you need it, you'll have it. A really good tip is take your bladder the night before, fill it about 1/3 of the way, lay it down so the nozzle's up in the freezer. Freeze that bad boy, put it in your back, fill it up the next morning, put it in your backpack, and you have a nice thing of ice right on your back the whole day.
That's a good tip.
That is a good tip. And I also have my 3-liter bladder. My tip for a bladder is fill the 3-liter bladder up with ice and then put a beer. You get a can of beer, and then you put the beer inside the bladder, and then you fill the bladder up with water, and then you've got a beer that's cold the whole time you're hiking. You're drinking your water through the bladder, and then when you get to the summit, you can crack open the beer. And
it's like a built-in summit beer.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
It's perfect, so that's my system. But I think if you're hiking Tuckerman tomorrow, so a couple of water sources. Obviously, when you get to Hermit Lake, there's the pump, and then you've got Lakes of the Clouds, you've got the Summit Observatory, and then I feel like Amanuensis, like you get to that that waterfall at the bottom, but then that's
you'll
it.
have that there, yeah.
Yeah, so there are water sources, so you don't have to go too crazy, but I'd say maybe 2 liters.
Yeah, and always camel up. Camel up before, drink a ton of water before. When you get to the summit, camel up at the summit, and that will take you a long way.
Do you have any powder or tablets or anything that you recommend for electrolytes?
I like the Noon. The Noons works really good for me. I like the flavors. They dissolve really good. So I use the Noon powder and tablets.
Okay.
I love those. They're almost like a supplement for me now at this point, like daily. They're so good.
Stomp loves those.
There's a lot to love with the Noon.
There is. All right, Daryl, well, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to see you.
One of my favorite things.
I appreciate you sitting down, too, because you always make me feel short.
Let's hear it for Daryl from EMS. All right, thank you. Does your backpack not provide enough ventilation? Does your back sweat too much when backpacking? As you know, sweat can be extremely uncomfortable on the trails. Plus, sweat is a serious risk factor in both hot and cold climates. As your clothes get wet, your core temperature can dramatically fluctuate. This can result in hypothermia, heat exhaustion, and dehydration. Let's not forget, just very uncomfortable. Today's your lucky day because we have good news for you. There's a piece of gear that solves the sweat and ventilation problem, making your backpack more comfortable. Vaucluse Gear's Ultralight Backpack Ventilation Frame. This ultralight frame is a backpack accessory that easily installs in your favorite pack, sizes 15 liters to 45 liters, and creates a ventilating airflow gap between you and your pack. It's also ultralight, weighing around 3 ounces. That's essentially equivalent to a pair of wool socks. Whether hiking in hot or cold temps, the ultralight backpack ventilation frame from Vaucluse Gear is a real game changer regarding airflow and ventilation. Visit VaucluseGear.com to order an ultralight ventilation frame today. Use promo code SLASR, that's SLASR, to enjoy a $5 discount, and let them know that Mike and Stomp sent you. All right, next we have Peter from Oboes. Come on over. We'd love to chat with you about what you guys have right next to us. You can use that microphone, right? Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Peter.
All right, Peter. I didn't bring sneakers. If you notice, I don't have sneakers.
We can set you up.
That's a problem, right? I want to use your insoles, but I got a problem. I don't have sneakers.
Well, we can set you up. We have some demo shoes right over there.
I didn't do this on purpose, I swear. So, Peter, why don't you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about Oboes?
Hi there, I'm Peter from Oboes Footwear, and my job is education and outreach for the company. I travel all around North America in our big green Oboes van, and I visit stores and do events like this, and it's fantastic. It's a great gig.
Wow. Now, what is your background that you became an ambassador for Oboes?
Actually, I was a middle school teacher for 33 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I worked for EMS, and that was my start in the outdoor industry. And when I moved to Montana, my manager, who was all of 24 years old, gave me a call to the REI in Bozeman, and got me a job, and I was working there, and that's where I met John Connolly, who was the gentleman who started Oboes. So,
wow. And then how did you end up from Montana coming out to New Hampshire?
Well, like I said, I travel all over the country, so okay. I'm in that big green van that's out in the parking lot.
Oh, so New Hampshire's not your home base? You travel all over the place.
all over North America.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Now, do you get to go out and hike when you travel around? You test out the new shoes?
Absolutely. I try to do at least 1 or 2 hikes on every trip that I do. Yesterday, I found this great little swim hole up off of Route 2. I was hiking along the river there, and there was this wonderful spot that I'd never seen before, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of good secret spots.
Yeah.
And you just pull
Nobody
off
there. There was not a single person but me. It's fantastic.
Wow. Awesome. Now, so tonight, you have sneakers, and then you also have the insole. So I've used different insole products before, but can you explain so the trail runners, I'm assuming, is the main product?
Actually, no. We're a hiking shoe company.
Hiking shoes. So you don't call yourself trail runners.
Yeah, these that I'm wearing and the ones that are over there for demo are not trail runners. They are actually hiking shoes.
How do you differentiate between the hiking shoes and trail runners?
Good question. So a hiking shoe is meant for the hiking stride, which is generally a heel strike. You're landing on your heel, you're rolling over, and you're toeing off. If you're trail running, you're more running on your forefoot as opposed to your heel. And so the shoes are built to land on your heel.
Got it. And then, but yours are, so I think of like the traditional like hiking shoes as the Keens and things like that are a little bit, they're a wider toe, but they're a heavier material. But I feel like I looked at your hiking shoes, and they look like they're a lighter material.
Well, some of them are. Some of them are like the Keens. We do the Bridger, which is a fantastic shoe. It's leather. We also do the Sawtooth X, which also is a leather and synthetic shoe as well. So we have a lot of your old school kind of hikers.
Okay.
And then we have some more lighter, faster, things like this. This is the Catabatic Wind that I'm wearing.
Okay, yep.
And we do shoes like this as well. So
excellent. And then as far as the insoles go, what's the benefit? Like for many years I was a runner, and I had problems with Achilles tendonitis and IT band, and I did use insoles previously to get lift. And I found like some of the hiking shoes and the trail shoes that we see, they have like that zero drop. And I do hear people, they're like, oh, I tried these new shoes, other brands, and I got Achilles tendonitis, or I've got IT band issues and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about like, if I have those issues, which are usually repetitive injuries, does Oboes, is you a product where you feel like you can help with that?
So, yes. First, I'm going to say I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, of course.
But I am a shoe specialist, and fit is the most important thing. And most people, we've been measuring folks here all day, and more than 80% of them that have come in here are wearing the wrong size shoe. And most people don't understand that it's really critical to measure your arch length, not just your foot length. And that makes a difference, because any of these hiking shoes, running shoes, they're all built to flex in a certain place. And if your foot is not matching the place that it flexes, you could be causing all kinds of damage, plantar fasciitis, bunions, all sorts of things. So measuring arch length is critical, and that's what we do. And having an insole, and all of our shoes come with an insole. They're standard inside the shoe. And we have a variety of insole types for the kind of shoe that it is. Like, this is a fast trail shoe, so we have a lighter, more flexible insole in it. Some of our more old school hikers have a more stout insole that's a little bit more motion controlling. So we believe that you need to be in a neutral position, and that you have a nice, good heel cup and a sculpted midfoot, so that your foot is closer, in the middle, and then a nice wide toe box so your foot can spread and flex. And so there's all of those things go into it. And then shoe tying is really critical as well. A lot of people don't understand how to tie their shoes, or that there's more than one way to tie a shoe.
Oh, you would be horrified by me, because I keep my shoes tied like the whole time, and I just slide them right in.
Yeah,
I never untie my shoes.
Yeah. So it's pretty amazing. Just changing the laces just a little bit can make a tremendous difference in how you feel in the shoe, and how you can mitigate certain issues.
So of those 80% of the people that have wrong size, is it like the shoes are too small or too big?
Both.
It's both.
But mostly too small.
Really?
Mostly too small. A lot of people have an arch length that's longer than their foot length. An example is, you might have a size 9 foot, but your arch length might be a size 11. What that means? Oh, look, I have the bones
here we go. We got a foot here, and
can you get me the
Somebody literally just dropped off somebody's bony foot. This is getting
I got a
interesting.
skeleton foot in my hand here, and I might need somebody to hold the mic for me so I could do the demonstration. But anyway, I need that.
You may have to hold the mic for him.
Hold on a second. So
keep it close to him.
All right. So here's a foot, and most of your hiking and running shoes are going to have structures and things in the shoe that cause it to flex at a certain place. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that your foot bends in the same place that the shoe bends. All right. So here's a case where the person is a size 9 foot. They'll fit physically in the size 9 shoe.
Yeah.
But their arch length, which is the distance from your heel to the metatarsal head right here, and that arch length might be an 11. They might have short toes or a flatter foot or something like that. And so what's happening is their foot's way forward in the shoe like this. And so as they try to walk, the shoe is forced to bend, and you can see what's happening with the skeleton foot. It's forcing to bend up here on the bridge of the foot, rather than at the flex point where their metatarsals end.
And then you've got all kinds of issues that can develop.
You could see what happens, right? So that heel is going to kick up. If people have a hole in the back of their shoe in the heel pocket there, guarantee they're wearing the wrong size shoe, because what's happening is their heel is kicking up.
I may be in trouble.
How many people in the room here have a hole in the back of their shoe? There's no shoe on the wall that should ever do that. So
I think I'm in trouble.
So and the other thing that's really wild about that is people, that heel slip that they're getting, people often think when they try a pair of shoes on in the store, if their heel is slipping out of the shoe, they think that it's too big, because their foot's popping out. But what really is the issue is that it's usually too small, and their foot is being levered out of the shoe because it's being forced to bend in a different place than it's meant to bend.
Okay.
So that's what's happening.
All right. Now, what would you say to like, okay, if I have some of these backpacking through hiker guys that I know that are like, okay, this is the lightest shoe. I want the lightest, most flexible shoe I can possibly get. Now, your shoes, I think, are probably a little bit sturdier. What is your argument for saying take a look?
You know, it's all about the individual person. You know, we do have lighter and flexible shoes.
Yeah, I mean, the shoes you're wearing right now, like I look at those on the surface, I say, those look like any trail runners I would see.
Yeah, they are lighter and you know, we have more stout shoes as well. It's really about what the person needs and what they're comfortable in. Studies show that you can have, you know, you could be in the right size, you could be in the right size shoe, but it doesn't feel comfortable to you, and you could hurt yourself in it, you know. So if you're comfortable with soft and flexible and all of that's good for you. Some people, though, need more support than they might want to admit. You know, if you have issues like plantar fasciitis, or you're rolling in, you're pronating an awful lot, you probably should have a more stout shoe that holds you and keeps you from fatiguing and, you know, things like that. So
okay, so if anybody's listening, they can go over to your table. You'll give them the measurement.
We'll measure them.
You're going to have a bunch of people there that says, "Oh, I'm a size 9," and you're going to tell them like, "No, you're a size 8 or you're a size 10."
He might be in the room. I had a gentleman here before who was telling me he was a size 10 and a half, maybe an 11, and when I measured him, he was a size 13.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we put him in a size 13 shoe, and he was blown away and like, wow.
All right. Well, I may come over afterwards and we'll have to test me out and see what's going on with my feet. What is it? Stomp has like his second toe is longer than his like big toe, and it's his feet are disgusting. What does that mean? Does that just mean he's just like deficient?
No, it's just there's different regions of the world your heritage comes from. So,
okay. All right.
But you want to make sure that when you measure your foot, you measure your foot, you're measuring that longest toe, not the shortest one.
Yeah, I noticed Stomp has a huge space between his two toes. It's his feet are disgusting, so I won't send him over. But he wrote me a note here. I'm supposed to like be smooth, but it's something Riley, the local oboes hero, plus Seek the Peak. What am I supposed to do?
That is the next guest.
Oh, that's the next guest.
Correct.
Who is this?
So can you help me out here?
Yeah.
I'm dying over here, Stomp.
No.
So,
okay. If you guys are good, we'll get the next guest up. This is fantastic.
You, and I'm going to come over and get my foot measured. And then how can people buy your product if they want to buy
we have some local stores here in town.
Okay.
They can go to EMS. They can go to REI. They can go to Synergy. Ragged Mountain up a little bit. That's another great place to go.
All right, and then if we see you driving around so we can also look for the green van.
You can't buy them from me, but you could also buy them directly from our website.
Well, we can chase you down and say, "Hey, I know a nice swimming hole. Let's go jump in."
Absolutely.
All right.
Cheers, guys.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Let's hear it.
All right, thank you, oboes.
And let's have a special round of applause for the SLASR dancers up front here. Woo! They're doing a great job keeping everybody entertained. Ooh. Where'd you learn how to dance like that? That's amazing. All right, so next up we have Riley, the local oboes hero, and also Seek the Peak steward. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have a great conversation.
All right, Riley, I met you earlier, so you're friends with Mel, right?
I am very good friends with Mel. Very fortunate for that friendship.
All right. Have you hiked with her?
Many a times.
Many times?
With and without Floki.
Oh, boy. Have you ever got to carry Floki?
Yes, in person, not usually on the hiking trail.
Oh, but not on the hiking trail?
No,
Does she let anybody carry Floki except for her on the hiking trail?
I haven't had to carry Floki, but I'm sure if push came to shove, Floki wouldn't mind riding on anybody's back.
Okay, all right, that's cool. So what makes you the local oboes hero?
So I got nominated by Mel and my mother through this opportunity at Oboes where I basically get free gear for the year.
Okay.
So I'm a New Hampshire local. I live in southern New Hampshire, but I spend more often than not the majority of the week up here in the White Mountains. I'm a runner, skier, hiker, backpacker, all of that, all into one little bundle of a human.
All right, so nothing comes for free.
No, yes.
What do you have to do in order to maintain your hero status?
So throughout the year, I was just interviewed, and it just got published recently, kind of about my story and what got me into the mountains and who I am and what I do for work.
So what did get you in the mountains? Have you been doing this a long time, or is this relatively new?
This winter will mark 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
I'm 26, so fairly fresh in my life. Like, I never hiked when I was a young child. I was always skiing.
What was the switch that all of a sudden you said, I'm going to start doing this?
So I work in a psychiatric inpatient unit as a mental health counselor, and I was walking about 10 miles a day with a really sick patient who was a runner, and I eventually took to road running and then learned about the Alps and all different mountain running, and it brought me to the White Mountains.
Yeah, and then when you go into the mountains, are you still running, or do you slow down and do the
hikes? A lot of power hiking and running.
Yeah.
I run a lot of the races that White Mountain Endurance Races puts on. I've ran every single one of their races. So yeah,
that's great. And then do you get out running? Like, do you do how many miles a week do you typically do?
Anywhere from 30 to 80 miles a week.
All right, so you're legit. Are you doing a lot of road races still?
No, I ran Chicago last year. I did the Jigger Johnson, which is occurring right now.
What are you doing here?
I'm pacing a friend tomorrow night through the night over the Osceolas.
And is the friend doing the 100 miles?
She's doing the 50. It's her first 50 miler, but it actually ends up being 57 miles. It's pretty brutal. I have a couple friends that are doing the 100 mile today.
All right, and when you're pacing somebody, what's the difference between that and when are you carrying more gear for them?
So that's called moling. We're not allowed to mole.
Oh, you can't? Okay.
No. So I'm required to carry the same amount of gear that they're carrying, but I'll have fresh legs. So my friend Anna, who's running it, she's a local. She'll be at mile 40 something at that point, or 30 something.
Okay.
So she's gonna be tired. It's gonna be dark. It's gonna be cold. So my main purpose is to keep her moving and get the ball rolling and provide some positive motivation.
So I've paced people before, and I think I'm the worst because I just started yapping all about me, and I'm like, oh, let's talk about me. And I feel like the person I was pacing didn't want to talk, and I didn't pick up on their cues because that's just the way it is. So do you have a whole list of topics that you're going to cover, or do you know to shut up when she's doing she's not in the mood?
So we have.
And Mel's shaking her head, by the way, because apparently she's not a good pacer either.
So we have a playlist going that I'll add to before I leave tomorrow, but I'm gonna meet Anna at the hairpin turn after she climbs Hancock Notch.
Okay.
So I'm gonna meet her where she's at, wherever she's feeling. I'm gonna bring whatever vibe she needs, whether it's just keep me moving or I want to talk about what I've gone through because you've already done this before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm there to provide whatever experience she needs.
And you're going up. Your pacing's going to start up East Osceola. Oh Jesus.
Yeah, that's a tough climb.
Oh boy, good luck.
Yeah,
she's going to be in a mood.
Yeah, I was in a dark spot when I was in that point of the race last year, but kept moving and I finished.
When you do these long races, do you stay disciplined on your fueling? That's my biggest problem. Is I just get in the zone and I stop eating.
Yeah, my watch is good enough. I have a reminder every 30 minutes. I make sure I get something to snack on, and usually candy or one of those fancy gels.
Awesome. And then do you tend to get out over the weekends, or you do midweek hikes?
Because I work in healthcare, I'm very fortunate that I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays off, or Thursday, Fridays. And I have every other weekend off, so it depends. This is my weekend off, so I'm getting paid to do this today because I took a personal day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have a particular brand of oboes that you recommend?
I'm wearing the Kabatic Winds, which are their new hiker shoe. I have ran in them a little bit. I like them. They're comfortable. They're not. I like a wide toe box. They're not very wide, but they do what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be a light hiker that get you up and down the mountain safely. The grip is nice. I went up South Mode a couple weeks ago in them, and they felt great, and I'm still wearing them. So.
No, you look just looking at you. He looks fast. So I would say a lot of people might be well, I don't want to feel like I'm slowing you down. do you run into that a lot, or are you pretty good about like just telling people like it's no big deal?
A lot of the training
I'll just
that
hike your pace.
A lot of the training I do is like time on feet, so it doesn't matter what pace I'm going at.
Okay, that's good. And then do you feel like you have grand aspirations to do any large crazy hikes outside of the Whites?
Like there's the Northeast Ultra 8, which is interesting, but to get to the Adirondacks, that's a hike to get there. Then to do the Great Range Traverse, it's on my bucket list. But in October, I'm planning on running my first 100-miler.
Your first what?
100-miler.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
down in West Virginia.
All right. So when do you really start ramping up the
Mike.
training? Yeah, 100. That's crazy. When do you start ramping up the training for that?
Training started last month.
Last month?
Yeah, the middle of the month. The beginning of this month, actually. I have a race, the Ragged 50K, which ends off of Ragged Mountain. That'll be a training run. Just go for 30 miles and see how I feel.
Do you feel like one of the issues I used to have, and I had injury issues when I would do like big miles, but also like my wife would just get sick of it. Like she'd just be like, it's consuming your time and you're just like letting other things slip. So how do you balance like that focus of like, I got to commit to doing 50, 60 miles a week. And then, I also have to maintain my personal life so that the people in it don't hate me.
Yeah, so it's really difficult. I work 3 to 11:30, like 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. So often a lot of my runs, especially with this hot weather, I run after work. So I run at midnight to 1 a.m. Sometimes it really varies. But when I start school back up in September, because I'm going to be a nurse, that balance is definitely a lot trickier.
Well, we wish you good luck in all your endeavors. And then what's her name? Anne that you're pacing? Anna pacing. Yeah. So we all appreciate you stepping in and helping out. That is going to be a tough area, like just going up to East Osceola after she's been doing all those miles. So
yeah, for sure. That's like the last big climb, and then they climb over Tecumseh and finish in Waterville Valley. It's a beautiful course.
Awesome.
Do I recommend it? Maybe.
Yeah. It will test you. Now, are you a social media person? Do you have a big presence on social media?
Not big. Maybe some people will say it's big.
How do we find you on Instagram?
It's my first name and last name, so Riley McGurn, McGurn.
Oh, okay. I know the name. Yeah. I know the name. So okay. So we'll put your Instagram in our show notes, and you're probably going to get like at least like 2 new followers out of it.
I'll take whatever I can get.
Awesome. All right, Riley, the Oboes hero. So,
yes, and Seek the Peak steward.
And
thank you, Riley.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're the Seek the Peak. So what are you like? Like I talked to Fawn earlier. Like she's like doing her own thing. Like she's going
awesome.
ahead. Are you going to be like around like prime time?
Because I'm pacing Anna, I'm on call all day tomorrow, basically.
Okay.
So I was hoping to make the event, but I don't think I'm going to make the after event. But I was thinking of doing maybe run up tucks a little bit tomorrow morning just to get the legs warm.
Okay, you'll see some people coming up and down.
Yeah, for sure. For Seek the Peak, as a steward, I kind of share the awareness of what the observatory does, and also share my story and who I am and what the mountains mean for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Look at this guy. He's like, I'm just going to run up tucks and then I'm going to go do East Osceola all the way over there. Like,
no biggie.
It's nice to be like young and fit.
I love being able to, show my patients what you can actually do when life's okay.
Right, yeah, because I think, like, for me, I know personally, like, the running, that time in the morning, I only do, like, 45 minutes or an hour in the morning, but, like, I feel like that just puts me in a zone where, all right, I've hit the reset button, and I'm ready to, like, deal with a stressful day, right?
Yeah, be a human. It's hard to human sometimes, so taking a little bit of time for yourself is definitely worth it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for all the support and the volunteering, and it was great to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen you on social media. I didn't put the last name together. So.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you might have seen him on Top Gun Maverick too.
You're in Top Gun Maverick?
Maybe a little too young.
Yeah, he was definitely in that movie.
Oh wow. Were you an extra, or were you like on the cast?
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
You're the best.
All right.
All right. So just
I'm never getting out of here. Stomp's at a list of like 50 guests. Sorry.
So just to refresh here, we are Mike and Stomp from the Sounds Like a Search and Rescue podcast. We're a hiking podcast that essentially strives to have people learn the safety required to get out there and recreate safely in the mountains. And it's really been a pleasure to be here tonight. We have a few more interviews, I think, tonight, and I just honestly can't believe this weather. This is such a perfect moment just to ingrain into your memory. Look at this. The sun's out, kids are running around, having a great time. It's just absolutely beautiful. So we're glad to be here. So yeah, let's bring up Mel. Is Mel in the house? Mel is another favorite of ours. The listeners love her when she joins us. You may know her from Mel and Floki fame. The beautiful cat that loves to hike the 4,000 footers and crush peaks. So Mel will join us.
Hello again, Mel.
And we do have stickers up here if anybody's interested, and little postcards if you want to try to find the podcast. We are weekly. We're out every Friday morning, and we try to interview a whole bunch of different random people and celebrities and just regular folks and all kinds of people that are just working behind the scenes to make this such a thriving, vibrant community for hiking. And we talk about the search and rescue community too at times, and it's just great.
It's great. Welcome, Mel.
Hi. How are you guys?
We're doing well. So for the listeners that aren't familiar with Mel is famous in the area. She hikes with her cat Floki.
My cat's famous.
Yes, your cat is famous. So and you've hiked the 4,000 footers with Floki, and now you have a new dog. I'm disappointed you didn't bring the dog. What's the dog's name?
His name is Willard.
Willard, yeah.
Mhm.
You didn't bring him tonight?
He's not allowed.
Oh, he's not allowed. All right, well. The one brewery in the world that doesn't let dogs in.
I know.
That's okay. I get it.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Mel, the last time we talked to you was, I think, at Reckless, and I think you were sort of right in the prime time of all the Mel Floki media stuff and all that.
Yes, and we had the Suedo Floki.
Yes. Yeah. We had. Yeah. Exactly. But since then, you've had a little injury, so I see that your ankle is wrapped up.
I did. It's doing better. I traversed the Franconia Ridge and happened to be standing on top of Haystack and was taking a step off of the summit, and there was a loose boulder, and I wound up breaking my ankle.
Were you coming up Falling Waters and heading across, or did you already?
I already did the traverse, so I had to go down
you were
Falling
heading down.
Waters.
Great.
Yeah.
So.
And I knew it wasn't in good shape, so that's why we wanted to kind of go down it instead of up, and I knew it would be easier than trying to maneuver with Willard. It was his first big mountain.
Oh, so Willard was with you too.
He was, and he pulled us up and across, and he was so good on the way down. And then, so it just unfortunately happened, and I got down, and then I wound up getting it checked out, and well, here we are.
Yeah. And then, are you getting back out there now?
I am. So just small stuff for now. Tomorrow, instead of climbing Washington like I normally do, I'm just going to do Black Cap, which is a local mountain here in town.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So Floki and I will be going up that with a couple friends, and then I'll be heading on up to the expo after.
All right. So Hurricane Mountain Road, and then you just...
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep, right up there. It's gorgeous. I mean, it gives you an incredible view for not much effort.
Yeah, it's about a mile. We've talked about Black Cap before. Matter of fact, that whole area, the Green Hills behind Cranmore, is a good location. Where I've been doing a lot is hiking behind the Walmart into the Redstone Quarry as well.
Oh, it's really cool.
Awesome. Yeah,
there's all kinds of abandoned buildings, and you can get up to like some cliffs and stuff if you bushwhack a little bit, and it's just gorgeous out there.
Yeah. So Redstone Quarries, it's behind the Walmart in North Conway, if you haven't been there, and it has like that little pond there looks like a set of a movie like Goonies or something.
Yes, and that essentially was the actual quarry, and then you can still see like some of the old equipment and stuff around.
Yeah, it's very good there. So all right, so
It's
you're
really cool.
basically easing your way back. Now, how is Floki? The thing that most people are going to want to know is how is Floki managing the little brother?
Well, it depends on the day.
Okay.
Some days she likes to sit on the table and swat him as he walks by, and other days she shows him who's boss.
Yeah.
So it really depends on.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know Willard, but like I've seen pictures of him, and my vibe is that Willard thinks that him and Floki are like best friends immediately.
I think he hopes that eventually that's going to happen, and he just keeps trying.
Yeah, but he doesn't realize that Floki's a cat and does
he
cat things.
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful she will warm up. I know when we did go for the one hike that we did together over the winter, they were great in the car together, and they were great on the trail together. But if you put them in their own safe space at home, I think that's that might be the thing that keeps. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah. Now, logistically, so you got Floki in the backpack, and then you've got Willard on a
Yes.
leash, or are you bringing extra people to help out with the Willard?
So Willard, I have a training collar for that has like if he gets too far from me, I can call him back with that if he can't hear me.
Yeah.
I think on the more populated trails, I will absolutely have him on a leash. Not because I don't trust him, but because just I don't know what the other people's dogs are going to do. And especially with Floki. So we'll see. The stuff that I do close to home, he'll probably be off leash. That's what he's been all this time. We kind of just trained him off leash, but he doesn't mind the leash when he is on it. So
what's the advice for people that have younger dogs? Is there I know there's rules about like you can't have them hiking at a certain age until their bone plates connect and like
So
the
that-
training.
yes.
How does that all work?
Willard's not a large breed dog, so
So it doesn't really matter. as much.
It doesn't. I mean, it matters to a point. Like, I wouldn't take my 8-year-old up Mount Washington for her first hike. It's that kind of mentality. So I just, when we went in for one of his shot visits, like I questioned, like, hey, he's been hiking with me all this time. Like, do you think that he could sustain this? And they were like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. Like, as long as you don't take him up Washington, like as his first hike. It's more the large breed dogs, from my understanding and from what our vet told us. Obviously, every dog, as an 8-week-old puppy, you're not going to take out on the mountains. You have to build them up, especially with their padding and, yes, the bones and the growth plates and everything. But if you are consistently out with them and working with them on the trail, supposedly that is supposed to be okay. This is all new for me because 15 years ago was the last time I had a puppy, and there were no studies done and nobody knew any about that. Obviously, I didn't take her out when she was 8 weeks old, but she was with me from,
Got it. And then you're keeping them on a leash, and then like letting Willard like basically just run forward a little bit, and then practicing recall.
So we're practicing recall a lot. We're practicing like heeling. We instead of saying heel, we say like stay with me, and so he'll stay next to us. So he's learning that, and obviously he's very treat motivated. So he's making our job a little bit easy as long as we have the treats. But he's still learning. He's probably about 7 months now.
So when you're going by like another dog or another human, like you basically got the treat right there, and you're trying to get his
and we have him on a leash. So we just try really hard to redirect his attention to us. Obviously, he doesn't want that. He wants to go play with the other dog. So we're just trying to learn like his triggers and making sure that we're working with him correctly to hopefully help us have a good day out there.
Nice. So you're relearning a new skill.
I am. Yes, it's been a long time.
Cool. And then how long do you think it'll be before you're fully healed?
Up to a year, unfortunately. Yeah. So
you really did it this time.
I did. I did not break. Fortunately, I did not break my tibia, but I did the break itself caused a joint injury. So I had to have a separate implant other than the plate and screws called a tightrope to bring all my ligaments and tendons back in with the joint. Yeah. So it's like a syndesmotic injury is what they call it. So unfortunately, I have that going for me. But
no, we always talk about like, if we get injured, like there's no way I'm calling search and rescue. So
I did not call.
So you're sitting up there on Haystack, and you're like, this is a bad one.
Yep. Well, I don't. I mean, I think in my gut, I knew that it was really bad.
But you could did you stop at all? I always tell people, like, if you think you
I had to stop because I fell.
Okay.
The outside of my foot touched the outside of my leg. Like, I literally, folded it in half.
Oh, wow.
But I have all these autoimmune stuff, so a lot of my ligaments and tendons are pretty stretchy anyway. So for me to roll something is not that abnormal, obviously. As we all know, I'm not the gracefulest person in the world. But I knew, but I wanted to try to get down. I've done search and rescue. I did it for a very long time. I know how long it's going to take them to get to me. I literally was on the top of Haystack, so they had 4,000 feet.
That's like 3 miles.
Yeah, 3 miles literally up the trail that's in a really horrible condition. And so, I looked at my significant other, Brent. He used to be a mountaineer, so I was just like, he's like, what do you want to do, Mel? I'm like, get down.
You're going to get down, yeah.
And he's like, and how are you going to do that? I said, well, we're not calling. So it's going to take too long. It's already 2:30 in the afternoon. By the time they get to me, it's going to be getting cold. I'm going to be hypothermic. Yes, we have everything we need, but we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
So, and I imagine shock probably took over at that point, and I did. I literally like just sat on my butt and scooted on the monorail the whole way down. And then when we had to walk, he made me like walking poles, trekking poles, because up until recently I did not use them, but now I'm starting to like them.
Right? Yeah, just as a safety factor.
It is. I used them before, and I had just generic ones that weren't great, and as I was coming down Lion's Head, they broke, and I fell like face first into a bunch of boulders, and I swore I'd never use them again.
Yeah.
Now they've gotten better. I mean, this was a long time ago, so they're more stable, and they have like saved me since I've been using them. So.
Wow. So you basically did that. You had the nightmare scenario, but
I did.
I always felt like if you injure yourself, like you're better off continuing to, if you can, like obviously
if you
gotta
can,
clean,
you
but
should, because you'll
just
meet
keep
them.
moving because the adrenaline's going to kick in, and you'll
And it
make
did,
some
yeah.
distance. Yeah.
It did. It was. I just knew. I'm like, we can't sit here. It's going to be too long before anybody can get to us. So.
So 2:30, and then what time did you get down?
I think it was almost 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Wow. Any
And I
cheers,
didn't
or
know.
were you like freaking out? You were okay
so
the whole time?
I had no idea. So it felt like 3 hours for me. Brent, thank God, I feel so bad for him.
Oh yeah, he must have been stressing.
Watch the whole thing. But we got to the car, and I remember looking at the clock, and I'm like, baby, it's 7:30.
But thank God you weren't by yourself, because then that's a different situation.
I know, and I'm always by myself.
Right.
So yeah, and that's what he said too. Again, I've got that training, and it's different when you're in the moment. I can't explain it unless you've been there. You don't really know. You just go into like this autopilot thing, and you're like, okay, this is what I have to do. This is what happened. You don't really. I felt the pain, but it was more like the reaction my body had to the pain. Like I felt really lightheaded. I was lethargic. I had to drink a bunch of water. The like ridge line was spinning. I'm like, I haven't drank anything. I don't understand why I have the spins. Like, but then once your body takes over, you just go. You just know you have to go, and that's it.
Yeah, the adrenaline definitely helps. Now,
Yeah.
for the hikers that are doing Mount Washington tomorrow, if you were going to be hiking Mount Washington, what would be your preferred route based on? It's going to be a beautiful day. Do you have like a preference on how
If I
you get
felt
up
like
there?
I was strong enough, I would go up Jewel. It's a great, easy-going, lovely trail, and then you get above, like, into the Alpine, and fairly quickly, I feel like after a couple miles, but the view you have is incredible.
Okay.
And it's gentle. It's not super fast. It's a little bit longer, but it's beautiful, and you get this different view that you don't get like when you go up Ammo or one of those. So.
Okay. And then would you go down Ammo? Or would you go back down Jewel?
I would. If I was healthy,
Yeah.
I would go down the cog.
Okay.
So it's just a straight shot. I'm all about whatever's easiest, within reason, obviously. And I would take my time going down the cog, but
Okay.
that's how I would go.
Awesome. So Mel's opinion is Jewel and then Cog. So that's a different. We've been telling people to go down Boot Spur, but
no, you don't do that.
So you're coming from the other side, which
Yes.
that side I typically I go up and down that in the winter, but then I tend to do the other side in the summer.
And you go
I
down
don't know
Boot
why.
Spur. Well, Boot Spur's not that bad to go down. I'm thinking the little side trail that I took down to the Hermit.
Oh, the Boot Spur link.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was fun,
that's steep,
but I don't recommend it
Yeah.
if you don't like steep.
That's steep. Awesome.
Yeah.
So Stomp, any questions? Mel's had she's had a whole thing going on here for a while.
Yeah, it's been a little crazy.
I missed the whole thing because I was trying to wrestle up a Tuckerman's representative to come up and talk about their beer.
They're gonna come up.
Oh boy.
But I guess it's going to be you and I talking about it.
Okay. Well, that works. No, do you drink or you don't drink?
No, I do drink.
You do?
Yes.
Do you have like a preferred beer?
I love
here?
IPAs. I've been drinking their Dawn Patrol. I like that. It's much different than the Rock Pile.
Yeah, I have the Rock Pile, I think.
Yeah.
Or I better have the Rock Pile.
I don't know. That might be a 12% right there.
Oh, boy.
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I may be getting an Uber back to Brownfield.
Does that even exist over here?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, so here's the contrast.
I'll give you a ride.
Mike spends a lot of his time over on this side of the whites.
I'm a
on
Route
the
16
eastern
guy,
side,
for sure.
and I spend my time over on the western side. So it's a little bit of a culture shock coming over here.
It's different.
It really
we have
is.
definitely grown. I live right here in town, and it has just been crazy how much growth the town has seen.
Yeah, I always tell people that, like, when you come up from the Route 16 side, like, Wontons is the gateway to
in
the White
Wakefield,
Mountains.
yes.
Yeah, that's
you
the
get
gateway
that
to the White
view.
Mountains.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah. Stomp doesn't understand, though, because
Oh, it's
he's over
beautiful.
on the...
You can see all of them for just like a split second, and then they're gone.
Nice.
I can tell whether it's going to be a good weekend once I hit Wontons.
The haze.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right, I can see the White
You're like,
Mountains.
it's not going to be that bad.
It's going to be good, but... All right, well...
Thank you very much, Mel.
You're so welcome.
We'll see you again soon.
Yeah, it was good to see you. So hopefully you'll be out and about. And
Yes.
we
I'm
all
aiming
love
for
Floki.
Washington with Floki the end of August
Okay.
for a hike for mental health.
Awesome.
So her and I will be out there for that, and then we are going to do the Alzheimer's hike that we had to reschedule. So
Awesome. We'll give Floki a bunch of
I
hugs.
will.
And give Willard plenty of treats.
I will.
Yeah, awesome.
I definitely will.
All right, thank you.
you.
Yeah, I can put that down.
Well, this has been fun.
I'm tired. I'm doing all the work here. He does nothing.
I'm just doing all the EQing. It's tough battling against the jam band. You know what I'm saying?
They're pretty good though.
Whew. Yeah, they're not bad.
How are you going to get the background noise out of the audio for this?
Oh, it's just, I mean, these are unidirectional, so we're going to sound perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are we done?
I don't know. Does anybody else want to come up and chat with these two guys from somewhere?
Does anybody have any questions?
Wow. Looks like we burnt everybody out.
All right.
All right. Jeff,
Everybody- oh, wait a
anybody?
minute, we
Full
got a
strength
question.
coffee? Oh, here we go. Audience Q&A time, everybody.
All right, young man, have a seat. Just keep it close. All right, we have a random person that just walked up. We have no idea who this guy is. Want to introduce yourself?
I am Dwayne Niskern from Pine Bush, New York, and the Catskill Mountains.
Catskills. So, you hike these little small hills then?
Yes, I hike
Oh, jeez.
small hills.
I'm already
many
starting.
Times.
That's
I
rough.
do enjoy the White Mountains. It's a great mountains and great event this weekend.
Yeah, we have a friend Stosh that does a podcast about the Catskills.
He's up here this weekend, actually.
Yeah, and he's up here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but what brings you here? Are you doing Seek the Peak?
I am doing Seek the Peak.
Excellent.
It's my fourth time, and I think it's a great event.
What trails are you taking tomorrow?
I'm taking the Lionhead Trail.
Okay.
Up to the summit.
All right, and then when you get to Lionhead, there's a point where you have to make a decision whether you cut up to Tuckerman or you can continue on and go up Davis Path. Do you have a plan, or are you just going to wing it from there?
I had been up last year. I went up the Tuckerman's Ravine Trail with my son and my friend Rose. And this year we're going to go up to Lion's Head, and I think it's going to be a good trail for us.
Awesome. And then what attracted you to hike Mount Washington? So you've been do you just come once a year for this?
No, not necessarily. I come a couple times a year. I love the area, and I think it's just a great event, and I like to help out, and I'm a hiker, so what the hell,
All right. Is this your
This is my friend Rose here. Come here, Rose.
Rose?
Come here,
Well,
Rose.
I already met. You're the one moving to Portsmouth, right?
Yeah, she's in our team tomorrow.
All right. So they're moving. They're going to move to my neck of the woods.
I think so.
So how do you feel about that?
That's okay. I got a place to stay when I come up here.
That's a good point.
I can go hike in Mount Washington.
So you're hiking with your son. Who else you hiking with?
My friend Rose, her husband Kyle,
This
and,
whole crew here?
Matt, yes,
All
our
right.
whole crew of us.
And you've hiked with all these guys before?
I never hiked with Matt before.
You haven't?
No,
No,
never.
you know, when you hike with a group, there's certain rules that you have to follow, right? Everybody stays together.
Of course.
You're as fast as the slowest hiker. Right? And then is somebody carrying your gear for you?
No, nobody's carrying my gear.
He's an old guy here. You guys
Maybe
should be
Rose's
carrying his
gear or somebody else's, but not mine.
All right. Well, and then what time are you going to get on the trail?
6:15.
6:15?
6:15, Rose. I'm sure.
Okay. Is this your fine family over here?
Yes.
All right. We should get them over here to talk about you for a few minutes, too.
Okay. Let's get Rose over here. Rose? You're up next. Yeah.
All right. Come on over, Rose.
I talked to Rose. Oh, no, we have another microphone. So she's
that's
good.
true, too.
You can stick around.
Okay.
I talked to Rose earlier.
Hello.
So Stomp, Rose is moving up near my area. She's going to be moving to southern New Hampshire and up in the seacoast area.
I feel bad for you.
Why do you feel bad for me?
No, my mentality is just go as far north as possible.
I blame
North
my
Country.
husband. Is that a valid excuse to blame my husband as to why we're not moving further north?
Listen, they've got
that's
where you're moving
good.
to
That's good.
has
It
the
works.
best seafood in their area.
Okay.
Amazing lobster rolls. And then you've got the beach, you've got the mountains. It's only an hour and a half. Like, you're in a perfect situation. I live in Amesbury, so I'm right near where you're going to be. So it's a no-brainer.
So we're basically going to be best friends now, is what you're
We
saying.
will. Yeah. Well,
awesome.
I will see.
Mike's not a really good neighbor. He pisses off all his neighbors.
I have a neighbor issue.
I could see that.
Now, are you hiking with them tomorrow?
I am, yes.
So now, which one of you decided the route? Did you pick it, or did everyone?
I mean, it was kind of a unanimous decision.
Yeah, I think so.
Last year, we went up Tuckerman's. I have gone up Lion's Head before. It was awesome. Good amount of scrambling. You get a bit of forestry, you get scrambling, you get Tuckerman's. I like it. You know, you get a good view.
And then, have you hiked in other mountains in the White Mountains so far?
No, but I intend to now that we're going to be living up here full time. So, yeah.
Okay.
I have been over, a few of the mountains in the White Mountains, all the local and, scenic, lookouts and things.
Awesome.
Visiting.
And then how long do you think it's going to take tomorrow?
Last year we left at like 6 or 6:30.
The time is still up for debate.
It is.
Dwayne here told me 6 and was late.
Okay. Well, the most critical thing is, so I'm going to tell you guys, the trick to successfully hiking Mount Washington is when you get up to the summit, the observatory's there. If the Coke that they sell at the observatory, I don't know what's in it, but it's like a special Coca-Cola.
Is it actually Coke or Coca-Cola?
I don't know. It's actually Coke, but it's like a different kind of Coke.
You're describing it like it might actually be cocaine.
No. It's soda, but it's like it hits different because when you hike that high, I don't know what the formula is, but it's unbelievable. So you get yourself a nice soda, and then you get some hot dogs, and then you can hike the rest of the day, no problem.
How many hot dogs is acceptable?
I usually get 2, or I'll get a slice of pizza.
I think last year we got a hot dog. We got some snacks up there. We were hungry. We were starving.
Right. Yeah.
By the time we made it.
Yeah. The observatory is it's very bougie hiking Mount Washington. A lot of the other mountains, they don't have these restaurants on top.
It was a nice event. We went through the weather observatory and seen all the instruments and everything else. And
we went to the top of the tower.
The top, the lookout, and up into the turret. I was up there before. Rose went up there last year. It was very and really when you summit the mountain, I felt like it was a warming event. You felt proud. In your body that you made it to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, it's an accomplishment for anybody.
It was an accomplishment, and I felt proud, and you feel it when you reach the summit.
Awesome. So I hope you guys have an awesome day tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good luck with moving to the area, and definitely take our info. If you have any questions, just email us on our website, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
He looks like he's fun to hang out with. Are you bringing some beers for the summit?
48 Peaks Alzheimer's. Use your passion for hiking to help end Alzheimer's. In one collective effort, 400 plus hikers will climb New Hampshire's 4,000 footers or create their own hiking challenge to advance the care, support, and research efforts of the Alzheimer's Association. Hike anytime this summer and help turn the White Mountains purple to end Alzheimer's. No fundraising minimums required, but you can unlock fun prizes as you fundraise. So visit alts.org/48peaks to learn more.
Hey, Mike.
Think about it.
Mike, we have some breaking news.
Okay, we got breaking news.
We have some insider information here on... Remember Fawn earlier?
Yeah, I know Fawn.
Do you remember when she proclaimed that there was the worst trail that nobody can talk about?
Yes.
We have insider information. We're about to find out what that might be. So if Steve Summits could come up here, please, and take the chair with the...
Oh, this is Steve Summits?
Steve Summits is approaching the plastic bench table here. And we are at Tuckerman's Brewery, and he's picking up the microphone as he makes his way to the table. And people are taking pictures of him because he's famous.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, brother?
How you doing?
Oh, it's so good to see you. It's so good to hear your voice, actually, for the first time on the podcast.
So is this one of the guys that does the notable hikes all the time?
Yeah, you always deny him the notable hike, I think.
Okay, well, that's the problem, is once I know you, I get a kick out of denying it. So I know this guy here. So you hike with him?
Yeah, Full Strength Coffee is my father-in-law, so I hike with him and my
All right, I
wife
think
a lot.
I've met you before.
Maybe briefly at Reckless or something, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Now, did you start hiking because of his influence?
No, I was kind of into it from a young age, but I would say once he started hitting the 4,000 footers is when I kind of got into the lists.
Okay, so who we're talking about here is Jeff Line. So he goes by an Instagram, Full Strength Coffee.
Full Strength Coffee, yep.
You know, you're involved with veterans on the 48, right? That's fair enough to say. Okay. So what's the worst trail in the Whites then?
Drum roll, please.
Now, is this really what Fawn said, or is this your opinion?
This is what Fawn said to me. Do you think it's okay to share?
Well, you're the least trustworthy friend ever, but I want you to share it.
All right, so I've never actually done this trail myself, but after hearing her, I want to. And she said it is Shoal Pond Trail.
Oh, Shoal. Shoal Pond. Okay.
Is that by Carrigain?
It's kind of to the east of Thoreau Falls.
Okay, yeah. Matter of fact, Stomp was just sent me a video today of like Thoreau Falls and that whole area there because there's a plane crash.
What
happened in like the 1940s and 50s. So there's a plane crash site. Have you been there?
Yeah, that was by Eric Hansen. Eric Hansen sent us a message saying you got to talk about this, which we maybe touched upon it in the past. But it's in that region. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense because like that whole Thoreau Falls and like East Side Trail and all that area, like nobody goes near there that's sane.
Yeah, I've never been over there. Yeah. I want to now.
Yeah, I would check it out too. I think it's a good like backpacking camping area.
I would think remote.
So you go in through Ethan Pond and then connect to it. So basically, like it's you can get there two ways. You can do the East Side Trail, which is parallel to Lincoln Woods.
Yep.
And then cut over, and then eventually you can cross the Pemmy farther up to get to Thoreau, whatever that is.
Correct. The Heart of Darkness.
Yeah.
It's deep.
That's probably the deepest into the wilderness you can get.
I think so.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
We
So there it
appreciate
is.
you spilling the beans there.
Yeah.
Now, are you hiking Mount Washington tomorrow?
I am. The three of us are going up Huntington. I actually have some unfinished business there.
All right. What happened why is it unfinished?
A year ago today, I decided to try it solo because it's been on my list for a while. And
Nice.
I slipped on a rock right at the base, and I dislocated my shoulder.
Mark the shame drop there.
I will.
Okay.
Do you remember you did Huntington's and you did it with like one hand holding a phone the whole way up?
I did, yeah.
That was pretty shabby.
Where did you slip on a rock, though?
It was before it started seriously going up.
So this is a good point. So if anybody is hiking Huntington, I will say, like, I've hiked it a bunch of times, and it's one of that area, like the boulder field before you get to the climb, is like it's like the Bermuda Triangle. Like I've fallen in that area too, and I messed I pulled my tricep muscle one time, so it is tricky. So I actually don't feel too bad because it's happened to the best of us. Not saying I'm the best, but it's tough down there.
Right, yeah. No, I fell right with one arm underneath me and the other arm behind me, and I struggled to pick myself back up. I was in a really weird position.
All right. Well, you're going to have to rely on this guy to make sure you can navigate that lower section.
That's right.
You know what he's going to have to rely on him for? For being a whistleblower on the Shoal Trail. He's going to need him to keep him safe.
Yeah. So you guys are going. You're going hardcore tomorrow, and then are you gonna just go straight up? Like you're gonna connect with Tuckerman, or are you gonna go around the Davis Path?
I think we're gonna head straight up. I kind of want to cut through the Alpine Garden because I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna head down Boot Spur afterwards.
Yeah, honestly, like that upper part of Tuckerman, I hate it. And like the rock hopping. I'm a short guy too. They're a little taller than I am, but there's too much rock hopping. So I'm a big fan of going around and just going up Davis Path. But you look young and in shape.
Yeah.
This guy's an animal. He can do it.
Throw down a few hot dogs and I'll be all set.
That's true. And the soda, the Coke at the top.
That's right.
It hits different. So, all right. What's that? 3 hot dogs.
3 hot dogs, by the way. Yeah, that's right.
You better watch it. So, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, and thanks for spilling.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, thanks, guys.
Good seeing all 3 of you. Thank you. And I think we're getting close to wrapping up, but I'm curious. Ellen Estabrook, do you want to come up and say hi for a moment, please? She is the reason we are here, and I just want to say thank you so much for considering us. It's very much appreciated.
Hi, on.
Ellen Estabrook is part of the OBS crew, so
Hello. Oh, this is on.
there you go. That's good.
Guys, I'm starstruck.
Oh, get out of here.
I'm so excited. Thank you.
Are you exhausted? Like this is like the begin. You're like halfway through the first day, but like you organized all this, right?
No, the whole team did. The whole observatory
You can
team.
take all the credit.
But reaching out to you guys was the best decision I made.
Come on.
Yes.
Don't get us going. We're gonna bring our egos are already through the roof. So
But thank you so much. Seriously.
awesome. And then so you're gonna be running around doing all the logistics tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow we're going to be at Pinkham Notch at 6 a.m. where all the hikers will be meeting and convening before their hikes before the day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then will you eventually do the hike on Mount Washington at some point?
I've done it a few times. I don't think tomorrow I'm going to be able to do it. We're going to be setting up tomorrow at Great Gun Trail, so.
Okay. And then what's the after hike deal? Did I read? Do you have food and a party afterwards, or?
The Après Hike Expo is at Great Gun Trails from 4 to 7, so that's where I'll be, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then what's the? There's a lot of vendors there, a lot of food.
There is going to be a turkey dinner for the hikers by Hart's Turkey Farm. That was backed by popular demand. The hikers
so
from
good.
years ago wanted that to return, so
Yeah, they
that's
do
what's
that for
happening.
the Mount Washington race too.
Oh, they do?
Oh, they sure do.
Nice.
Oh, it's amazing.
So it's like a big community sit down.
Oh,
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
So that's what it'll be tomorrow, and we're looking forward to it.
Do you have an announcer? Like, is Andy part of that or no?
Who?
Andy Satchett from the Mount Washington, or is somebody else doing the
I
MC?
think we're going to be sharing the mic.
Oh, excellent.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, that'll
I
be
think
fun.
in the past maybe that was the case.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have a huge raffle at the end of the night, and that's what people really look forward to win some awesome gear from the vendors, and yeah, it'll be awesome.
That's so exciting.
Well, this is amazing. Like the people listening to this won't be able to see, but there's got to be like 500 people here. Like it's a big party. So
I hope you guys had fun.
Well, we had a blast, and I'm hoping that you picked up a bunch of like additional hikers tonight, and then you'll pick up some more tomorrow.
I did meet someone in the bathroom who was curious about Seek the Peak, so
There you
maybe
go.
we will.
Awesome. Well, I wish I could go tomorrow, but unfortunately, I've got to entertain guests. But I know that it's going to be an amazing crowd, and you've got some great people. So thanks again for having us, taking a shot. You never know what you're going to get with us. So
I mean, you talked to a lot of people tonight, so that was pretty cool.
I'm exhausted. He made me do all the work.
You guys must be tired, but I
was
see
like-
you have beers in hand, so that's good.
We do.
I was the agent tonight, setting up all your interviews.
You were. Stomp's
The
running
EQ
around,
guy
like,
and the
connecting.
agent.
Like, we didn't really have a script or anything. Stomp's running around just getting random people over here. So it's been great.
This is great.
You guys do an awesome job.
Oh.
I just want to say.
Well, you beat me to it, because I really want to say thank you, because you've been interacting with us for the last 2 years through different channels, and you're a professional. I really appreciate your communication, and you're just really top tier.
Likewise,
So,
back at you
absolutely.
guys. I listen to you guys during my commute to work. It's the best.
Nice.
Excellent.
All right, we're going to wrap her up.
Everyone's going to hike Mount Washington tomorrow. Stomp and I both recommended going down Boot Spur, but you hike your own hike.
Yeah, that's right. So this is the Sounds Like a Search and Rescue podcast saying good night, and have a great, safe hike tomorrow. And thank you for having us.
Let's drink.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the show, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you want to learn more about the topics covered in today's show, please check out the show notes and safety information at SLASRPodcast.com. That's SLASR podcast.com. You can also follow the show on Facebook and Instagram. We hope you'll join us next week for another great show. Until then, on behalf of Mike and Stomp, get out there and crush some mega. Peace.
Now covered in scratches, blisters, and bug bites, Chris Staff wanted to complete his most challenging day hike ever.
Fish and Game officers say the hiker from Florida activated an emergency beacon yesterday morning. He was hiking along the Appalachian Trail when the weather started to get worse. Officials say the snow was piled up to 3 feet in some spots, and there was a wind chill of -1 degree.
And there's 3 words to describe this race. Do we all know what they are?
Lieutenant James Nealon, New Hampshire Fish and Game. Lieutenant, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
What are some of the most common mistakes you see people make when they're heading out on the trails to hike here in New Hampshire?
It seems to me the most common is being unprepared, and I think if they just simply visited hikesafe.com and got a list of the 10 essential items and had those in their packs, they probably would have no need to ever call us at all.